Hello, what's up? Today, I am bringing this all together. So over the past couple weeks, we have launched the Fit Girl personality quiz, and hundreds of women have taken it with really fun results. And I just wanted to share with you today why this is applicable. Yes, based on the quiz, but also just on working out, doing anything, honestly, parenting, leading, working, being in relationship based on how you are wired. The biggest flaw that I see in most diet, fitness, workout programs is that there is a one size fits all approach. So first of all, not only are diets not a long-term solution anyways, but usually diets and workout plans fail. The plan fails, not the person, because they don't take into consideration individual tendencies, a person's triggers, their motivational pattern, their motivational style, or the lifelong habits that individual has that is now ingrained into their personality, right? In terms of motivational styles, I just want to share with you, having worked with women pretty much exclusively since 2013, and then working, as a coach for 4 years before that, men and women have very different motivational styles. And way back in 2010, I started teaching outdoor boot camps to women. But I learned from this guy, it was like very military style boot camp. And they were very successful. But in making this like a holistic lifestyle for women, I found that women are more motivated by how they want to feel and who they want to be than whereas often men are more motivated by just no pain, no gain, you suck if you can't do this, right? So that's just one very generalized gender-based example. But I just want to point out that people are different based on our history and the experience that we've had with fitness and nutrition, right? So I think that a fallacy is that it's all about willpower, and even someone with the most willpower in the world can find it really tough to stick to a program or a plan that is built for someone else and not specifically for them. And so to be fair, of course, there's no diet or fitness program that is for everyone, for all people. It's a matter of knowing yourself. And this is what I'm going to share with you today, learning what's best for you and then putting your findings into action. And that's what I'm here to help you do today. So I, as a coach, like to address the crucial issue that most diets, nutrition, and fitness plans ignore, which is the psychological and behavioral factors that make us all so different, right? As I just mentioned. So based on the 5 fitness personality types that we created for the quiz, I've created some step-by-step starting points, again, based on your personality result. So yes, again, these 5 results are generalizations, but they're a starting point, and they're based on my years of experience in coaching people who very frequently fall into one of these patterns. But so yes, they're generalizations, but it's of course inside my programming, inside Muscles and Mindset, where we really create customized specific planning and programming on a one-on-one basis. But this is such a good starting point. So what I'm going to do with you today is provide specific techniques for each personality type, for each person on their journey, and try to help you spot some common pitfalls that people of your personality type or with similar lived experience find helpful to navigate through them. And even just the descriptions, if you haven't already taken the quiz, make sure that you go do it, because even just the descriptions that my team and I took a lot of care to write can give you insight into your personality and those characteristic patterns of motivation and behavior that really feel like they define you. So we can use this information to get you on an exercise and nutrition plan that not only will you stick to, but you will thrive on. So we're going to go through each of the personality types, and I want you to stay till the end when I'm really going to share with you how to know how you're wired, beyond the quiz, how to know who you are and how you are wired, so that you can make sure that you're doing something that works for you. So let me just share with you. All right. So I call this stop swimming upstream and work out for how you are wired, because a lot of the time I find women come to us and just say like, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it, I'm just lazy. And I actually don't find, I don't think I've ever had a client who is truly lazy. I think often they're trying to do a bunch of things that were like built for someone else, and it feels, um it just doesn't feel right. Like, imagine going to work and doing someone else's job that you have no idea what you're doing. Like, do you know how exhausting that would be, to be constantly trying to learn and fit yourself into a mold? Like, it's almost based for a comedy movie, right? Of like, you know, Tootsie or something, like going into someone else's role and behaving in a way that just is not you. It's really exhausting, and it causes burnout. And I think that's why a lot of people quit. So like, let's just do it for you. So we're going to start with the 5 personality types. The first is beginner Belinda, who we love. We love on our team working with beginners, because these people just don't know what to do and where to start. And there's so much information. It's so overwhelming. It becomes a non-starter, right? So this is a personality type, yes. And then I'm going to tie it into how you are wired. So if you're a beginner, that doesn't have anything to do necessarily with how you are wired. But here are 4 things that I do want you to do just to get started if you are beginner Belinda. I want you to build possibility expanders. So right now, your brain is wired as a newbie to see evidence of all that you haven't done and all you don't know how to do. And it's just like so overwhelming. And if you're a high achiever, like most of my clients, you're probably seeking more information, more information, more information, and it just becomes overwhelming. So what I want you to do instead to rewire your brain is to begin to spend time around like-minded women who are doing what you want to do, who've achieved what you want to achieve, and who feel how you want to feel, who have the results that you desire and are maintaining it. That part is really important. So if you're in my like free Facebook group, you're already doing it, because hopefully you're being inspired by the community of people who are doing or on a journey that is similar to yours. So possibilities expanders is starting to see evidence, not just of like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do that, I don't know where to get started, but starting to see evidence of, oh, she's doing it, and letting that expand the possibility that you can do it too. She started, she, didn't think that she could do it, and here she is. Number 2, I want you to let go of comparisons. So I know I just told you to look at other women and see what they're doing. Use that as a possibility expander. Do not use it as like comparing yourself to them. I think it's more common even to compare yourself to a previous version of yourself before you had kids, when you were 15 years younger, before you were married, before you had like this really busy career. That's like never for your highest good to compare to a previous version of yourself, or someone who is in a completely different place than you, or has been training way longer than you. Let go of the comparison. And then also as a beginner, let go of perfectionism, right? Particularly if you can identify as someone who's wired for perfectionism. I totally am still a recovering perfectionist. I really encourage you to release what you think, like maybe you just don't know better than, like maybe the universe has a greater plan for you, and you should just release what you think this is supposed to look like, so that you can just begin with something and feel into it. I am always team something over nothing. So if you're a beginner as well, also, again, if you're a high achiever, if you're wired for like collecting information, stop collecting information. Stop collecting books, stop collecting fitness equipment, and just start collecting and counting reps, like just doing. You don't need more knowledge. You need a plan and execution. You got to take action. So this is not so much like an innate, this beginner Belinda, we're rewiring in a nurture way, because this is not necessarily how you are wired as a human. It's how you've been wired, because you've never done this before. So if you confidently want to get started with a program that works, do something. First of all, I don't even care if it's within our program, just like do something, ask me for help. But really, please just stop wasting your time and start rewiring, let go of the all or nothing, because that does play into this as well, although that's who we're going to talk about next. And let's just get started. Of course, muscles and mindset is where you want to be if you want to feel and look super hot and strong and you just don't know where to start, I got you. Okay, next one is Black and White Betty, all or nothing thinking. This is one of our top 2, I think, for responders in the quiz. So when it comes to consistently feeling and looking fit and strong and toned, we have to learn to live in the gray area a little bit and let go of that all or nothing. We call it stinking thinking. So here's what you have to do. So again, this is more of a nurture versus nature. I give you both, actually. Black and White Betty. It can be nature and nurture, but we're going to try to rewire your brain as best we can. And one of those ways is by removing things rather than adding things. So Black and White Betty tends to be all or nothing. All in, got to be an hour 5 times a week. Or if I'm not doing that, what's the point? I'm all out. I just did a full half-hour training on this like a week or 2 ago. So Black and White Betty tends to believe that more is always better. And if I'm not doing all of it, then I'm doing none of it. I need more. My high achievers. These are my high achievers too, right? I just need more calls with you. I just need more information. I need more education. I need another program. I probably need more workouts. I need different workouts. And what's the result is you get completely overwhelmed. Your bucket is overflowing. Your capacity gets blown, and then you go into nothing. You give up, you throw in the towel, and then you also get to say it didn't work again. So what I want you to do is identify the habits that are not moving the dial forward on your health goals and get rid of them. What can you say no to? How can you delegate or enlist help in saying no? And what can you delegate? If you are adding things in without being extremely essential, like using essentialism and prioritizing what you're putting on your plate and in your calendar, that is a recipe for overwhelm. And Black and White Betty tends to do this, tries to do it all, ends up doing none of it, or doing a bunch of things that are not her priority. So I want you to start to shift and rewire for like, what are my priorities? Let's do that instead of focusing on everything, because that's getting me nowhere. On that vein, number 2 is consistency is always greater than intensity. Black and White Betty likes to go, perhaps like learned that more is better, no pain, no gain, right? And in my experience, I've almost never found a woman for whom that has been of great service. So I just want you to get really consistent on the basics. Eating, hydration, movement, steps. You don't need to do any crazy, you don't have to do CrossFit. You know, if you're just getting started, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do hours of cardio. It doesn't have to be complicated. You need some sustainable methods so that the results are sustainable. If the methods are not sustainable, the results won't be sustainable. You'll go into black and white. It'll be a wash. So transitioning from there, something is always better than nothing. All or nothing thinking makes nothing a reality. You'll go all for a short time and then nothing, and then you'll get sick of your own shit, and then you'll do all again, and it becomes this cycle, right? So there's no shame in any of this. You're a Black and White Betty. You do all these things that I just described. There's no shame because you're not the only one, or I wouldn't have created a whole category of personality for it, right? But seeing it as something that you can rewire is very powerful. So I want you to start to think, like, what if I just didn't buy into this? Because if you want to confidently, like, not even just get started, I shouldn't say get started. If you want to confidently work out and eat well for the rest of your life so that you are a beautiful example for your little girls or your parents or your girlfriends or your partner, then you need to stop wasting your time going all in and all out, which honestly is wasting so much of your energy. And you need to start to live in the gray area. And again, muscles and mindset can get you there. Totally a plug. But again, if you're just doing something, I'm something over nothing all the time, regardless of what it is. Do what works for you, what you're wired for. Okay, so calorie counting and cardio carry is also a little bit all or nothing. And she's definitely more is better. She's definitely no pain, no gain. And it's definitely not working for her. This one is usually more nurture. Most people weren't born with like some people I think were born intense, but this is really taught. It's really taught by diet culture too, honestly. So if you feel like you are wired, like you have learned that counting calories is the only way, spending hours doing cardio is the only way to actually get and enjoy your dream body, here are the 4 things I want you to do. You need to rewire your brain-body connection. So slowly and progressively learn to eat intuitively. So usually what calorie counting, cardio, and carry does is restrict, 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 and then binge, snack, overeat, start the cycle again. Or they're able to restrict for a period of time. No one is able to do that forever. That's why no one's ever on a diet for the rest of their life. Or they are, and it's like for sure miserable and not for your greatest health, right? So instead, I want you to start to feel your hunger cues, feel when you're full, and start to listen to and honor those things. And that will rewire your brain for it to be like I do it without thinking now, right? I eat my lunch, I stop when I'm full. My clients report this all the time. One of my clients the other day said, like, she was a previous extreme binge eater. She would go through a whole bag of wraps from the fridge because she would just slather peanut butter, I think, and honey and roll them up and just like eat the whole bag. And she doesn't do that anymore. She threw away half an ice cream cone the other day because she was just done, which is like my people who binge eat. That's not their MO, right? So you can get there when you start to practice eating intuitively. I need you to prioritize strength training too. Honestly, the proven most effective exercise method to build muscle and strength and lose fat is strength training. And please make sure your program is optimized so that the time that you're spending working out is both maximized and paying off. So again, for you and how you are wired, like, do you like doing some intense stuff? Do you need it to be more low impact? Do you like to work out with music? Are you not motivated by music? Like, starting to think of what gets you going. And part of that, which is really important for people who can get really strict with themselves, is to identify why you are doing this. If your primary goal is to look a certain way or to lose fat, I see you. I totally feel you're right. I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of women, and I know that why you want that, why you want to, feel fit or lean is important. Like, why do you want that? I want you to answer that question for yourself, because I know that that's what's going to keep you moving forward consistently. I know that's going to keep you in the game, progressing, and able to actually enjoy the results. Like, why do you want to wear a bikini? Like, what do you perceive that will get you? How will that make you feel? Really, you want to be confident in a bathing suit so that you can go to the lake, to the beach with your kids and sit down and squat down and play in the sand and not give a crap about what anyone else is thinking about what you're wearing. That's like really why you want to do it. Or you want to confidently wear a bikini so that you can like meet your husband on a cruise ship deck somewhere and like not be worrying and just like know you look so amazing, right? Like, what do you want on the other side of it? And then, yes, we can work on the confidence, but let's work on the acceptance piece in tandem. And then you got to take some rest days, girl. Like, my clients who came in who were working, particularly doing cardio 5-6 days a week, once we cut them down and gave them some full rest days, their inches went down, their energy went up, and their results accelerated. So your body needs the rest days to actually rest and repair, which is when muscle building happens and when your nervous system feels safe enough to actually shed fat. Cortisol's got to go down. So again, if you want to stop like sweating profusely all the time and start actually seeing results that are going to stay with you, then, programming, again, everything I just told you, prioritize your strength training. If you want us to do that for you, muscles and mindset is where you want to be. We've had a lot of previous cardio carries in our time. Okay, inconsistent Irene, this is also one of the top 3. This is one of my favorites because consistency is my jam. Like, I can get you consistent, no problem. And here's how. Because if you really want to feel good, if you want to feel confident, you want to look fit, you want to feel fit, you want to feel strong, consistency is queen. Okay. So here's what you have to do. You need a program that is specific to you and your body. If you're not sure why you're doing what you're doing in your fitness routine, or you hate it, you're not going to stick to it. And you're not going to see results in your daily life unless you're doing activities that are important and relevant to you. So you might really like your, I don't know, like ballet class that you go to, but it's not really helping you to be able to lift your 40-pound nephew from the floor, dead weight, right? Or you might find that running like gets you out of your head, you like being outside, but it's not like changing your body. It's not changing the composition of your body. It's not building your muscles. Your muscles are looking the same, even perhaps like a little bit, quote unquote, skinny fat, right? So we have to work what you like with what you want. And then we have to execute it consistently. So I want you to ask yourself why you've been inconsistent in the past. And that could very well have something to do with how you are wired. And that's the information that you're going to use to become adherent, is why you've been inconsistent in the past. Like really why, no excuses, but like, what are you telling yourself, right? Consistency, we need consistency, of course, to see a result, but your body needs it as well in repeating a pattern and repetition. That's how you build strength. That's how you build confidence. That's how you avoid injury. That's how you get toned. Science. On that vein, we do that via progressive overload over time in order to build muscle, again, in the same movement patterns relevant to the things you want to do in your daily life. Squat down to dig in the sand with your kids, pick up your nephew, help your neighbor move their air conditioner, like whatever. You have to, if you want, tone, you have to strength train. And yes, we have to change your physique so that your muscles are visible if you want that toned look. But it's a result really of the things that I've mentioned previously: eating intelligently, progressively overloading, and strength training. And lastly, I put this one specifically for inconsistent Irene, because I think a lot of people who are inconsistent and fall on and off struggle with the emotional side of it. Like when it gets hard, they kick into shame, feelings of guilt and shame. They ghost themselves, their trainer, their friends, because they feel shame about not doing what they said they were going to do. And so if you are an inconsistent Irene, that's all the more reason to fight that wiring and rewire to show up when it's awkward and uncomfortable. Brene Brown says that accountability requires vulnerability, and it's so true. So if you actually want to adhere to a routine, if you want to feel and look hot naked and progress yourself so that you can do all those strength things that I just talked about, digging in the sand, squatting down low, moving the air conditioner, lifting up your nephew, standing on one foot to be able to like change your shoe in the fairy lineup, and for your clothes to fit better. I haven't even talked about this, but that's like one of the greatest results inside of Muscles and Mindset. That is what we do. We love consistency. Okay. People pleasing Patty. I think this was like number 3, top 3 out of 5. Oh, so common. People pleasing Patty is driving all over the city to pick her friends up at the airport and take her teenage children things that they've forgotten and clean her friend's house while her friend is on vacation, like doing all the things that make her so lovable and sweet, and then also force her to put herself last every time. So much so that she does not take care of herself. She does not eat regularly. She doesn't get enough rest. She doesn't do anything really for herself. And she definitely doesn't work out and move her body. So that is the result of people pleasing Patty. So here's what you need to do to take care of yourself and your health. This is very like basic. Got to put your oxygen mask on before you can serve anyone else. We're not showing up. We're not a good example. I'm sorry, but you're not like a better partner, mother, or boss, coming from a place of resentment. We come from a place of a full cup, modeling a healthy example and like feeling good, not feeling resentful. So I think first of all, especially for my high achievers, you could be wired this way, right? You could be, and this can be a nature or a nurture. Often again, it's a nurture, it's learned. But what is not learned is that you have a capacity, because you're probably a high achiever. You probably get told like how great you are at managing it all, doing it all, taking care of everyone else, doing so great at work. So you become wired that like you actually have an infinite capacity, but that's not true. You're human, you have a capacity. There's actually enough hours in a day. There's just too many tasks on your to-do list. This is what I call anti-Beyonce syndrome, because I don't know Beyonce personally, although she did walk by me once when I was backstage at her concert. But I assume she's in high demand, right? So if she said, or like Michelle Obama, if Michelle Obama said yes to taking care of everyone and everything and every engagement and every person who texted her like all at once, she'd be freaking not alive, like not capable, right? So we have to set up some boundaries for when we are a diva like Beyonce. You got to live as if like you are in such high demand, because you are. You're just not honoring that you have a capacity. Choose your 3 GD priorities for your year, for your season, for your week, and for your day. The rest goes on a wish list that you put in your bedside table and you revisit it like in 3 months. Just do those 3 things. That's number 2, listing your priorities. So if you really want to build this fit body, you really want to lose fat, you really want your clothes to fit differently, you want to buy smaller clothes, you want to feel so hot and sexy in a new dress on your anniversary, you have to prioritize the tasks that get you there. Eating, moving your body, sleeping. That's pretty much it. So as long as the laundry and making the beds is higher on the list than those workouts, guess what will get done? It's the thing at the top of the list, the laundry and the making the beds, and never you. So what I want you to do, number 3, is to just begin by taking tolerable steps, asking for help with something like really benign, or starting. I have a client who she's made so much progress, but like she's stopped making, I think it was making or doing like washing her teenage kids' bedding all the time, right? So like small tolerable step, saying no to the party when like you just don't have the energy, asking for help, asking, like hiring an accountability coach, or just having a buddy that you can text, like asking for help, and delegating and empowering the people in your life. So if you're empowering your boss to like you are her bee and you get her dry cleaning, even though that's not part of your job, you need to begin to rail that back in a way that like feels safe at first, but then we're going to like completely eliminate that. Teach your children to do their own laundry, to make their own beds, to take their stuff out of their backpack. We can train children and pets. We can't train other adults. We can only ask with love. And then it's our responsibility, right? What's important to us. That's a tough rewiring, I know. Okay. So those are the 5 personality types. So you're probably recognizing that you're wired one of those ways. I would love to hear what speaks to you. And then I want to tell you lastly, how to identify how to shift this and what to do next. So how do you even know how you're wired? Well, you can take the quiz and, fall into one of the personality categories that I just gave you, but I also want you to move forward really like even more specifically for you. And as with most things, it begins with self-awareness. So I want you to journal these. I'm going to give you like 4 or 5 prompts. What drives or motivates you? Like what excites you? What makes you want to do things? That is how you are innately wired. When you were a little girl, what did you want to do? What got you excited? I remember this. I loved running around barefoot in the forest, pretending I was Pocahontas. I lived in the forest basically, but like, I love to play pretend. I love to be outside. I was an entrepreneur. I sold my paintings to tourists on the side of the road. Like, what did you used to do? Because those are clues as to what your key drivers probably are. What motivates you? Is it your kids? Is it that you want to, I don't know, you want to help your partner with his health. You want him to be around for your family. So you need to set an example, like what motivates you and drives you. Identify that. That's probably your wiring. And this can't be about other people. This is about you. And then when was the time that you felt so excited to get up in the morning? Was it like when you were last at Disneyland? Because if so, you probably are motivated by fun and you need a little bit more fun in your life. So maybe you need you need to try a new class or like some fun music or something to get you going. Or maybe you started a new job, or maybe when you started the job that you have several years ago, you were like so excited to go there in the morning. It was so fun for you. What about that was exciting for you? Was it like the people that you were going to be around, the task that you were going to do? This gives you information into how you are wired innately. What is a habit that you have that already makes you feel really good? I love journaling. So I'm going to journal about my goals and like how I want to feel, because that already makes me feel good. I'm going to optimize that. I have clients who actually love cooking. And so maybe their nutrition was shit, but we optimized the fact that they actually like cooking to help them eat more healthfully. Like, how can you optimize what's already working for you? Lots of our clients work out with their kids now. So if you love spending time with your children, like, is that an option for you? And if you need some space and time away, then like, don't do that. This is what I'm talking about in terms of working out for how you are wired. And then lastly, I want you to think of a time when you completed a project successfully. What was your role? So for example, say you, I can't even think, I should have thought of a recent example before this, but say you like built a deck with your partner. What was your role in it? Are you the person who wants to read the instructions and is really good at delegating? Are you the person who is more creative and is just gonna like wing it? This is insight into how you are wired, like takes instruction well, works well with structure, works better on the fly, creative mind. We all need some structure, but I want you to start to think about how you work and how you work best. Okay, so those are the 5 things. If you forget them, or you can always just message me and ask for more. So I really hope this was helpful, because I really think that it can be really painful when you're trying to swim upstream and getting a lot of pushback. So please DM me your questions about eating, getting fit, and working out for how you are wired. I love you so much, and I'll see you guys next time.